I never thought I'd see the dusty roads of Billings, Montana, again. 3 years ago, they said I was gone for good, wiped out in a fiery car crash on Highway 90. My little girl, Emily, probably cried herself to sleep over a closed casket they never even filled. But here I was, alive, breathing in that dry prairie air, my old pickup truck rumbling along the outskirts of town like a ghost from the past. They call it Big Sky Country for a reason. The horizons stretch forever. But secrets? They burrow deep into the ranch lands and stay hidden until someone digs them up. My name's Laura Hayes. I used to run a small horse training business out here, breaking in Mustangs for local rodeos. Life was simple until it wasn't. A bad divorce from my ex, Rachel, left me with nothing but supervised visits and a mountain of debt. Then came the accident, or what everyone thought was one. I survived. Barely. Thanks to a good Samaritan who pulled me from the wreckage. But with no ID, no phone, and a head injury that scrambled my memories for months, I ended up in a rehab center down in Wyoming, piecing myself back together. By the time I was whole enough to reach out, Rachel had already spread the word. Laura's dead. Funeral and all.
Why?
Control. I guess. She always wanted Emily all to herself. I didn't announce my return.
No fanfare.
No calls. I just drove into town that crisp autumn evening, the sun dipping low over the Beartooth Mountains. My plan was to swing by the old ranch house on Cottonwood Lane, scope things out, maybe talk to a lawyer first. But instinct took over. I parked a block away, under the shadow of a cottonwood tree, and walked the rest. The house looked the same, weathered wooden siding, a wraparound porch with that creaky swing Emily loved. Lights were on in the windows, warm and inviting, like nothing had changed. But something felt off. A faint cry drifted from the detached garage out back. My heart skipped. I crept closer, the gravel crunching under my boots. Through a small side window, I saw her, Emily, my 8-year-old, huddled on a dirty old tarp, clutching her knee. "It hurts so bad," she whimpered to no one. Her face was streaked with tears. Her hair matted like she hadn't been cared for in days. I didn't hesitate. I yanked the garage door open, the rusty hinges screeching in protest. Emily looked up, her eyes wide with terror at first, then confusion. "Mommy," she whispered, like she was seeing a mirage. "It's me, sweetie. I'm here." I knelt down, careful not to spook her. She flinched when I reached out, and that broke something inside me. "What happened? Why are you out here alone?" Before she could answer, the back door to the house swung open. There stood Rachel, my ex, silhouetted against the kitchen light, a beer bottle in hand. She looked older, harder, but still that same polished facade, jeans tucked into boots, hair in a neat ponytail. "Well, look who's back from the grave," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Emily's just throwing a fit again. You know how kids are, always seeking attention." I stood, positioning myself between them. "This isn't a fit. She's hurt." Emily clung to my leg, trembling. Rachel rolled her eyes. She tripped playing outside. I told her to sit out here and think about her attitude. No big deal. But her smirk said otherwise. I remembered that look from our custody battles, the one that made judges side with her because she seemed so put together. I pulled out my phone, the one I'd kept off-grid during recovery. It was still linked to the old home security app we'd installed years ago. I logged in, heart pounding. The garage camera feed showed it had been manually disabled 2 weeks back. "This system's not broken," I said, holding up the screen. You turned it off on purpose. Rachel shrugged, taking a swig. Technical glitch. Whatever. She turned away, like I was yesterday's news. I scooped Emily up gently. She winced but didn't protest, and carried her to my truck. We're leaving, I told Rachel over my shoulder. And don't try to stop us. She laughed. You'll regret this, Laura. Courts don't like ghosts showing up uninvited. As I drove away, Emily whispered, I thought you were in heaven. Her words hit like a punch. They buried me alive in her mind. I took her straight to a walk-in clinic in town. No questions asked. The doc examined her knee, swollen, bruised, but no break. Looks like an old sprain, he said quietly. And those marks on her arm. They ain't fresh. I nodded, rage simmering. Child Protective Services would hear about this. But first, I needed proof. We checked into a motel on the edge of town under a fake name. Emily fell asleep clutching a stuffed rabbit I'd bought her on the way. As she slept, I searched the toy. Something felt off about the stitching. Sure enough, inside was a crumpled note in her childish scrawl. Don't tell, or the door stays locked. That night, I didn't sleep. I emailed photos of the note, the bruises, everything, to a family law attorney I'd found online. Revenge? Maybe. But mostly, it was about saving what was left of us. The next morning, I visited an old neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, who lived across the street from the ranch. She nearly fainted when she saw me. Laura? We all thought. The crash. Her voice trailed off. Yeah, about that, I said. What did Rachel tell everyone? She glanced around nervously. Said you didn't make it. Held a memorial. Emily was heartbroken. Mrs. Jenkins paused. But lately, the girl's been quiet. Too quiet. I saw bruises once, but Rachel said it was from horseback riding. I thanked her and left, my mind racing. This wasn't just neglect, it was systematic. Back at the motel, Emily woke up scared of the yellow lamplight. Yellow means be quiet, she said. Conditioned. Broken. I turned it off and held her close. Over the next days, I gathered more. School records showed Emily missing days for illnesses. A teacher I trusted confided she'd filed a concern report, but it vanished in bureaucracy. Rachel's new partner, Tom, a local ranch hand with a shady past, was involved too. I found out he'd been arrested once for domestic issues, but charges dropped. I confronted Rachel via text. I know about the locks. The bruises. Back off. Her reply. Prove it. Dead woman. But I would. Legally.
Carefully.
No vigilante stuff. This was Montana, where family courts favored stability. But evidence was king. My attorney, Dennis Carver, filed for an emergency custody hearing. We've got a strong case, she said. Your death was never confirmed officially, just rumor. We'll petition to reopen the divorce decree. Emily started opening up in whispers. Mommy Rachel said if I talked bad, you'd never come back. It tore me apart.
But it fueled me.
We weren't just fighting for custody. We were reclaiming our lives from the shadows. Days blurred into a haze of motel rooms and whispered plans. Emily and I moved to a women's shelter in Bozeman, about an hour west, to stay off Rachel's radar. The place was basic shared kitchen, bunk beds but safe, with counselors who specialized in family trauma. Emily clung to me like Velcro, her small hand in mine even when she slept. I'd wake up to her murmurs. Don't go away again. Mommy Laura. I dove into the legal trenches. Dennis Carver pulled strings for a fast-tracked hearing, citing child endangerment. We subpoenaed school records, medical files, even the old security footage from the ranch. Turns out, Rachel had deleted most of it. But cloud backups don't lie. I recovered clips showing Emily locked in the garage for hours, crying alone. "This is abuse," Carver said, reviewing the videos. Clear-cut. Montana law prioritizes the child's best interest. We'll argue Rachel's unfit. Rachel fought back dirty. She filed a counterclaim, accusing me of kidnapping and instability due to my disappearance. Her lawyer painted me as a flake who'd faked her death for drama. But I had proof: hospital records from Wyoming, witness statements from the crash site. The judge, a no-nonsense woman from Helena, wasn't buying Rachel's act. "This court deals in facts, not fairy tales," she said during the preliminary.
Meanwhile,
Tom lurked like a bad omen. I spotted his truck tailing us once on the interstate. I reported it to the sheriff, who issued a warning but little else. Small-town connections run deep. Emily drew pictures in therapy, dark rooms, locked doors, a mean man with a belt. The counselor noted signs of emotional manipulation, recommending full custody to me. One night, my phone buzzed with an anonymous text: "Give her back or regret it." I traced it: burner phone. Unhelpful. But it lit a fire. I installed a GPS tracker on Emily's backpack and taught her a safe word: sunflower. If anyone approached, yell it and run. We visited a pediatric specialist in Billings. X-rays confirmed old injuries: a healed hairline fracture in her wrist, likely from being grabbed too hard. Repeated trauma, the doc said. "Report this to CPS immediately."
we did.
The caseworker, a kind but overworked guy named Ruiz, interviewed Emily privately. She told him about the timeouts that lasted all night, the threats to send her away like Mommy Laura. Rachel denied everything in her deposition. Laura's paranoid. Emily's clumsy from riding horses. But the evidence mounted. Neighbors testified to hearing cries. School nurses recalled unexplained absences. I even found Emily's old journal hidden in the ranch's attic during a court-allowed search, pages filled with "I miss real mom" and "Don't make noise." The drama escalated when Rachel showed up at the shelter unannounced. "Emily wants to come home," she cooed through the gate. Emily hid behind me, shaking. Security escorted Rachel away. But not before she hissed, "You'll lose her for good this time." That pushed me to go public.
Carefully.
I contacted a local journalist from the Billings Gazette, sharing anonymized details. The article dropped: "Mother back from dead, alleges abuse in custody battle." It stirred the community. Folks in Montana value family, but hate hidden cruelties. Support poured in: donations for legal fees, offers of temporary housing. Emily started healing in small ways. We rode horses at a nearby ranch, her first real smile in weeks. "Like old times," she said, gripping the reins. But nights were hard. She'd wake screaming from nightmares of locked doors.
"Det hold her."
Promising, "No one's taking you away." Not ever. As the hearing loomed, Tom made his move. He cornered me in a grocery store parking lot. "Rachel says back off," he growled, reeking of cheap whiskey. I recorded it secretly. Montana's one-party consent law worked in my favor. Carver used it to file a restraining order. The preliminary ruling came: temporary custody to me, supervised visits for Rachel. She exploded in court. "This is bullshit." The judge warned her, for contempt. Emily hugged me tight after. "I get to stay?"
Yes.
"Baby. We're building a new home." But Rachel wasn't done. A week later, Emily's school bag went missing from the shelter. Inside was her journal. Anonymous tips to CPS claimed I was coaching her testimony. Carver countered with polygraph results. I passed. Rachel failed miserably. The web unraveled further when Ruiz uncovered Rachel's financials. She'd cashed my death insurance payout fraud. Plain and simple. Charges pending. Tom had priors. Assault on an ex. Together, they were a toxic duo, using Emily as a pawn. I felt the revenge tone shift to justice. This wasn't just payback, it was protection. Emily deserved better than the shadows we'd lived in. As we prepared for the final hearing, I whispered to her, "We're turning the page.
Kiddo.
Brighter days ahead." The courtroom in the Yellowstone County Courthouse felt like a pressure cooker. Wooden benches creaked under the weight of onlookers, neighbors, advocates, even a few reporters. I sat straight-backed. Emily beside me in a simple sundress, her hand in mine. Across the aisle, Rachel glared daggers. Tom slouched next to her like a hired thug. The air smelled of polished oak and tension. Judge Harlan called order. "This is about the miners' welfare," she intoned. "Not personal vendettas." Carver presented our case meticulously. Medical reports.
Videos.
Witness statements. MS. Hayes survived a tragedy, only to uncover another. The evidence shows systemic abuse, physical, emotional. Montana Statute 40-4-212 prioritizes safety, award full custody to the petitioner. Rachel's lawyer countered. MS. Monroe provided stability. Laura abandoned her family, but cross-exam revealed cracks. Rachel stumbled on questions about the insurance fraud. It was a mistake. I thought she was dead. I testified calmly. I never abandoned Emily. I fought to survive. When I returned, I found her locked away, injured. That's not parenting, that's control. Emily spoke in chambers with a guardian ad litem. Later, the report read, "Child expresses fear of respondent, desires to live with petitioner." It sealed the deal. The judge ruled, custody to MS.
Hayes.
No visitation for MS. Monroe pending therapy. Mr. Carrington. Restraining order granted. Rachel stormed out, yelling threats. Tom followed, muttering.
Outside.
I breathed free air. "It's over," I told Emily. But it wasn't. That night, back at our new apartment, a cozy two-bedroom in Billings subsidized by the shelter, my phone pinged. "Unknown. You took what's mine. Payback's coming." I alerted the sheriff. They traced it to a payphone near Rachel's ranch. Days later, Emily vanished from school recess. Panic hit like a stampede. I raced there, heart pounding. Teachers said a family friend picked her up. Description matched Tom. I called Carver.
Ruiz.
Everyone. An Amber Alert went out. Montana's vast lands made searches tough. But community rallied. Ranchers on horseback. Volunteers combing fields. I drove endlessly, checking old haunts. At dusk, a tip came, sighting at an abandoned barn off Route 3. I arrived alone, against advice, flashlight in hand. The door creaked open to Emily tied to a post, scared but unharmed. Tom loomed. "Rachel wants her back." I lunged. We scuffled. He swung. I dodged, grabbing a loose board and cracking his knee. Emily screamed "sunflower" as I untied her. Sheriff's deputies arrived. I tipped them secretly. Tom arrested for kidnapping. Rachel turned herself in, claiming ignorance. But texts linked her. Charges: child endangerment, conspiracy. She plea bargained down to probation. Mandated counseling. No contact. Emily's therapy intensified. She drew sunny pictures now. Less shadows. I was scared.
But you found me, she said.
We rebuilt slowly. I reopened my horse business, teaching Emily to ride. Legal clarity came, my death voided, assets returned. The lesson whispered, forgiveness heals, but boundaries protect. In the aftermath, community support grew. A local church hosted a fundraiser. Strangers shared stories of similar battles. It humanized the drama, no villains.
Just broken people.
Rachel entered rehab, Tom faced jail. I sent her a note. Get help. For Emily's sake. No reply, but it felt right. Emily flourished.
Joining 4H Club.
Raising a pony. Mom, can we visit the mountains? She asked. We did. Hiking under big skies.
Talking openly.
Why did she hurt me? Emily pondered. Some folks carry their own pain, I said gently. But we choose kindness now. The case sparked reforms, better CPS training in rural areas. I volunteered, helping others navigate the system. Revenge faded, humanity prevailed. We weren't erased, we were rewritten stronger. With custody secured, life settled into a rhythm on our small rented ranch outside Billings. Morning started with coffee on the porch, watching the sun rise over the plains. Emily helped feed the horses, her laughter echoing like music I'd missed. No more flinching at shadows. Therapy sessions with Dr. Ellis taught her tools for anxiety, deep breaths, journaling happy moments. Rachel's trial wrapped quickly. She got 2 years probation, anger management classes, and a no-contact order. Fraud charges stuck. She repaid the insurance with interest. Tom drew 5 years for kidnapping. His prior sealed it. I didn't gloat. Pity replaced anger. They need help too, I told Carver over lunch. Emily asked about them once. Do I have to see Mommy Rachel?
No.
Sweetie. Only if you want. Someday. She nodded. Relieved. We focused on positives, school plays, rodeo lessons. She made friends, hosted sleepovers, normal kid stuff Montana style. One evening, we found an old photo album in storage, me, Rachel, baby Emily at Yellowstone Park. We were happy once, Emily said softly. Yeah, I agreed. People change, but memories don't have to hurt. We kept the good ones, donated the rest. Legal loose ends tied up, my name cleared, back pay from old jobs. I expanded the business, training therapy horses for kids like Emily. It felt purposeful, turning pain into help. A year in, Emily had a breakthrough in therapy. I forgive them.
Kinda.
But I love our life now. We celebrated with a camping trip under starry skies. Stars are like hopes, she said. They shine even in dark. The humane shift came naturally. No bitter revenge, instead,
Growth.
Rachel reached out by a lawyer. Apology letter. I was wrong. Be well. I read it to Emily. She shrugged. Okay. Closure. Light and simple. Community embraced us. At a local fair, folks clapped my back. You're a fighter. But I deflected. Emily's the strong one. As winter snow blanketed the ranch, we decorated for holidays, first real tree in years.
Emily hung ornaments. Giggling.
This is home. Yes.
It was.
The lesson? Resilience blooms from compassion, not grudges. We weren't victims. We were victors, quietly thriving under Montana's vast sky. 2 years post-return, our life was a testament to renewal. The ranch thrived, clients from across the West for horse therapy. Emily, now 10, excelled in school. Her art winning local contests, bright landscapes. No more dark rooms.
Dr.
Ellis signed off. She was healed, resilient. Rachel completed probation. Moved to Idaho for a fresh start. No drama. She sent birthday cards through channels. Emily read one. Proud of you. She smiled faintly. Maybe someday we'll talk. Tom paroled early, but stayed away, restraining order enforced. Whispers said he's sobered up, worked construction. Good for him. Everyone deserves redemption. I dated casually, a kind rancher named Mike. No rush, Emily came first. We volunteered together at a family crisis center, sharing our story to inspire. Systems fail, but people persist, I'd say in talks. One summer, Emily and I drove to Glacier National Park, towering peaks,
Crystal Lakes.
Remember the garage? She asked suddenly. I nodded. Hard to forget. I don't hate it anymore. It led me back to you. Wise beyond years. We hiked, picnicked,
Laughed.
at a viewpoint. She hugged me. Thanks for fighting. Always. Kiddo. Back home, we planted a garden, sunflowers blooming tall. Symbol of our safe word. Now hope. The lesson lingered lightly. Forgiveness frees you. Love rebuilds. As the sun set on another day, I watched Emily ride her pony across the field, wind in her hair. No more erasure. We were alive.
Whole.
Under the big sky. Proof that even shattered families can mend with heart and time. Reflecting back, the journey taught us empathy's power. Rachel's actions stemmed from her own unresolved traumas, abusive childhood. Per court docs. Understanding didn't excuse, but humanized. We sent anonymous resources her way. Heard she sought therapy. Emily's art evolved to stories, short tales of brave girls. Like us, she beamed. Mike proposed eventually. We said yes, as a family. Wedding on the ranch. Simple. Joyful. Emily walked me down the aisle. Years on, our story faded from headlines, but its impact endured. Reformed laws. Saved kids. The humane end, not triumph over enemies, but rising above. With lessons in kindness and strength. We lived fully, gratefully. Under Montana's endless horizon, we found our forever.